The Mother's Day gift guide, that one?
No, the how Star Trek is improving the way we show mothers on TV.
Oh, for Christ's sake. Star Trek's depictions of motherhood are changing for the better.
That one. That's the one. I want to hear your take on it.
Star Trek's depictions of motherhood are changing for the better. Stories of mothers have become key to Star Trek. And they show the Klingork.
Yeah. Can't say that word.
Georgiou.
Can't say the R word. Causes PTSD, Klingork. That's how we put it. Causes PTSD. PTSD causing Klingork. You know, for reasons.
And the story contains spoilers for Star Trek Picard. She gave me a smirk and that sideways glance I'm used to as the mom of a preteen. All I was guilty of was looking over to see a reaction to the TV. I laughed and she scoffed at me for a bit. Then we went back to her couch snuggling. I hope I still have at least a year or two of snuggling left, but we'll see. Okay. I'm grateful that Star Trek has been one of the shows my daughter and I get to watch together. We began watching Discovery at my insistence. Oh, there's your first problem. And it has been incredible to begin to introduce.
Does she hate her mother?
She hates her daughter.
Oh, is the mother making her daughter watch Discovery?
Older Star Trek shows I love, as well as exploring the new shows together. It is a joy for me to watch her relate to Star Trek. It's almost like I've been watching my daughter and the world of Star Trek mature simultaneously. Who the hell wrote this? Shelby Gouillard.
How old is the daughter? Is she like 12? If she's like 12, don't watch Star Trek.
I like science.
According to this, she's some kind of PhD. She's some kind of academic at North Carolina State.
All right, look her up. How old is she? If she's like under 40,
I think she's in her 40s.
Oh, okay.
Let me see. Looks like she's in her 40s. If not, she's aging horribly.
Okay.
Let me see.
Well, a fake doctor, they all suck back, says.
PhD in forestry. Oh, there you go. MED science education. BS science education. Earth Science, North Carolina State, 1997. Okay, well, let me keep reading.
Yeah, keep reading.
Growing up as a girl in the 90s who loved Star Trek. See, that tells me she's not that.
So she's she's like my age or younger. She might have been, under 10 in the 90s, and I was in my teens.
Growing up as a girl in the 90s who loved Star Trek was sometimes awkward, but we've all heard that story. This is the story of a girl who grew up loving Star Trek, who is now a mom watching her daughter discover Star Trek in a very different world. A mom watching a bold new exploration of motherhood in science fiction. These are terrible depictions of severed baby heads.
I was also a girl in the 90s who loved Star Trek.
Characters who are abandoning. The freaking Raffi abandoned. She was a piss poor mom, but still, it was his fault. Though.
Georgia wasn't even a mother. She was literally space World War II bad guy.
Surrogate mother, but still. I watched my daughter bloom while viewing Star Trek Discovery, arguably one of the most diverse collection. Oh, fuck off. Diverse
doesn't mean good. Diverse just means it puts a lot of people in boxes only for the sake of representation as a circus freak.
Arguably one of the most diverse collections of characters in the Star Trek universe. It reflects our world as if the previous ones didn't. Her world. My child saw a world filled with hope, and many Star Trek episodes reflected that feeling, with a sense of joy and justice and the ultimate triumph of good. But much like the future of Discovery's crew as they ended their second season with a jump into the unknown, our future now feels so uncertain. This is awkwardly worded. With the universe that she can relate to.
So she's a shit writer, too.
But daughter also has had an easier time. Proofread your shit, man. But my daughter has also had an easier time finding characters to latch onto as well. When I asked my daughter who her favorite characters were in Discovery, she said Spock because he has dyslexia like me. Oh, for God's sake.
Oh, you're okay. And that's what's wrong with you. That is what's wrong with you. You used an actual learning disability as a way to exploit.
Okay, Well, she doesn't want, and Tilly because she's weird and awkward, also like me. Seeing unique characters who can thrive in the face
But
of
they
uncertainty.
don't. They're shit.
But they just stand around and wait for Mikey Spock to do everything. Seeing unique characters who can thrive in the face of uncertainty using logic, critical thinking, and teamwork is essential for our children to see modeled for them now as they grow into the mid 21st century.
All right, guess what? I'm dyslexic. It does not give you superpowers. It just means you jumble up letters, all right? So you're lying to your kid by saying that dyslexic people are going to be able to decode the Red Angel stuff, right? That's how Spock was used in Discovery. So first off, you're completely wrong there, lady.
Right, well,
Second off, I do not like my learning disability being exploited so that you can, have something to market your show as, because it's not good enough to just be a show on its own. You're using somebody's learning disability or skin color or gender or anything like that, or the fact it might be autistic for all we know with Tilly, to market your show, and shame on you, Star Trek.
Okay, Picard also models what it means to lead others, even with a fiercely independent crew, through integrity, love, connection, and forgiveness. I thought for a second said through integrity, love, connection, and forgiveness. Yeah, Chuck Woolery is on board. These values often seem absent or minimally present in our world. My daughter and I have even bonded over our agreement that Picard is the best captain. Of course, she's 11 and doesn't quite yet fully understand that
How dare you make your 11-year-old watch this show? Are you, what is wrong? This is getting another, I'm going to clip this and repost this tomorrow for you guys.
Well, she's admitting she gets a moist feeling for, of course, she's 11, doesn't quite fully understand that my swooning over Patrick Stewart clouds my opinion, but I'm sure it's coming soon. Season 2 of Discovery and Picard's debut are both full of themes surrounding motherhood, a topic rarely covered in the Star Trek universe. So all that time we spent with Beverly Crusher, nothing. Though Dr. Crusher was always a loving mother and became more complex as the next generation progressed, her competence and responsibility as a doting mother of a smart and stubborn teen was nothing if not predictable. And though...
So she wasn't good enough. So a good mother was not good enough. You need a mother who probably has giggity relations with her adopted daughter based on the way she looks at her, or another one who abandons her kid, because those are good mothers now. Is this just an excuse for being a piece of crap in today's society? That's what it seems like to me. Just to demonize something that was actually decent and actually progressive. Just to justify your own insecurities, justify your own failures.
And though I imagine that teenage boys might be able to relate to this mothering experience, navigating the teen years for a mother and a daughter can look very different. Discovery embraces these nuances through a thorough exploration of Mikey Spock's interaction with her three mother figures, Amanda, Gabrielle, and Georgiou. Each unique in their own right. Picard explores motherhood through the trials of Raffi as she navigates motherhood through her addiction, and 7 of 9 as she seeks vengeance for the death of her foster son, Icheb.
Okay, Icheb wasn't her foster son. They were about the same age. He was over 18, okay, first off. And not only that, that was more of her brother. And she also murdered him for no absolute reason, because, you know what, that wouldn't have killed him because he didn't have a cortical node anyway. If they had actually watched Star Trek, just plucking out his eye wasn't enough to actually kill the guy. So, she actually just murdered him in cold blood just for no other reason than drama and to get back at Manu and Treme. That's all it was.
Yeah. For me, it has been validating to watch the love of Michael's mothers. Her biological mother, foster mother, and mirror universe adoptive mother, as they all try to guide a smart and stubborn woman along her journey. One of the most touching scenes in Discovery was the reappearance of Michael's biological mother. Imagine watching Gabrielle appear. Gabrielle. I don't care.
Yeah,
And the pure joy I felt when my daughter enthusiastically screamed, "It's her mom!" Don't ruin my geek cred. cred, but I might have shed a few tears, especially as the mother and daughter struggled to connect, knowing they may never see one another again. Amanda is much more traditional mother, a comforting and loving presence with both of her children. No, she's not. No, she's not.
She's probably the best mother in the show in Discovery, but
she's still horribly neglectful.
Someone called child services on that woman. Yeah, the one who wrote this. Yeah, if you're letting your 11-year-old watch Star Trek Discovery, shame on you. But then again, I was listening to DeGuar when I was 11, but I also wasn't an idiot. I guess I wasn't a typical 11-year-old. I wasn't normal. I wasn't watching Disney. While
Mira Georgiou attempts in her own somewhat evil way to guide Michael in acts that only seem like attempts at kindness. Oh, come on, lady. Were I less secure in my parenting, I might be troubled that my daughter insists Mira Georgiou is one of her favorite characters on STD. All the mothers try their best to shove, gently steer, or lead their children throughout life. The morality and ethical lessons of older Star Trek series, coupled with the broad gray areas and themes of the newer shows, can help us to start deep conversations with our kids as they try to find their own moral compass in the world. You're laying it on thick, lady.
Yeah. I stopped listening. Also, Mr. Another $5 super chat here. He says, wow, I'm the diabetic crippled with PTSD. I wonder what superpowers I get. I'm anti-Wolverine, I guess. Here's the thing. You have a character for representation on Star Trek, and he's so important they didn't even give him a name or an ability to get anywhere except wheel himself throughout the hallway, which I think is kind of disgusting, in my opinion. To have somebody used as a woke point.
He has a name. It's Wheelchair Man.
I'm laughing at the ridiculousness of it. I'm happy that the guy got a part on the show. I'm really, but man, you're better than this, Star Trek. You're better than this. You should be better than this.
He's a liability.
Who the hell wrote that article? Some crazy woman. Here, we'll link it for you.
Let's power through the rest of this. Beyond their roles as mothers, Discovery's moms are also relatable to modern moms. Dr. Gabriel Burnham is working hard while also being a mom. Like that has
like everybody else on the planet.
She has a career as a research scientist while also raising a daughter with her husband. The family seems to be doing quite well at achieving that work-life balance when the Klingons arrive to mess it up.
They were working for Section 31. They were probably bad guys doing experiments on Klingons for all we know.
I'm not sure how balanced you can be with your research lab in your house just feet away from the dinner table. But that is new reality for many working moms during this time of the you-know-what, of the great toilet paper shortage of 2020. Family can also be more complicated, requiring creative solutions beyond simply balancing work and life. And Discovery hits those notes as well when Georgiou advises L'Rell against juggling a career and a child. What?
She's on Twitter.
After giving up her child, L'Rell goes on to unite. What the fuck show are you watching, lady? Goes on to unite and rule the Klingon Empire. In a much later conversation with Tyler, he asks her if she's speaking of protecting their son, the Chancellor, as the Chancellor or his mother, to which she replies that he, of all people, should understand that two truths are possible. To me, no phrase is better to describe motherhood than two truths. We are mothers, and yet we also strive to be ourselves. It is not an erasure.
So she's a dumb person that uses a lot of words to make herself sound smarter than she actually is, and a lot of double speak, and dumb people just kind of tune her out, nod their head, and agree with her instead of.
Well, let me keep going. As motherhood can sometimes feel, but rather an addition to the complex and amazing person you are, were, and always will be. Even L'Rell, who gave up her child, a severed baby head, brings that identity in as an addition to her own, adding to her depth to her character rather than diminishing it.
Well, you can't really diminish anything when she goes from, causer of PTSD to Ash Tyler, that they flash back to it every chance they get. Right. And he's there shaking like a little man bun wearing Klingork.
All right, well, we're almost done here. Most of the mothers I know are multidimensional characters, complex and amazing women in their own right. Even more so now in the time of the great toilet paper shortage of 2020, Motherhood is complicated. Our relationships with our children are both strengthened and pulled apart through this time we spend with each other at home, balancing work, school, and attempting to forge bonds. For my daughter and me, Star Trek has always been a way to connect, and I will always thank this franchise for showing characters who are moms like us. We aren't dead, evil, or perfect, as are so often
But those
portrayed
women are.
in typical children's media.
But those women are
Instead,
evil. Like, what is literally the leader of the Terran Empire in the mirror universe who cooks and eats Kelpian sentient people? Like, seriously.
well, anyways, instead, we're people who try our best to be the best mothers we can, while also working to change the world and galaxy for the better. We're deeply flawed, yet always loving, like Raffi. Raffi was a piss poor mom. We can care, fight, cry, and rule empires just like Georgiou. Anyways, like Georgiou, Laurel, Amanda, Gabrielle. After giving a speech to her people to reassert her authority after killing her lover, Laurel asks her people for a fiercer title than Chancellor. The fiercest title she claims to her own mother.
So, yeah. Yeah.
Stay fierce, mothers, and have a happy Mother's Day. Oh, she identifies as pronouns. Shelby, she, her, is a freelance writer, a mother, a Star Trek fan, a lifelong science and environmental educational professor, and a science fiction enthusiast. You can follow her at Shelby Gouliard on Twitter or at Shelby.Ghoul. On Instagram.
Yeah, she's a follower. She's not somebody you want to. Here's my thing. When you get on, let's take a look at her Twitter handle here, or her Twitter profile. She follows more people than follow her, so she's clearly somebody who is easily influenced by what other people have to say. So she's somebody who follows and recites back. She's not an independent thinker.
I don't doubt that she loves Star Trek, but she's getting the wrong message out
of it.
Yeah,
you're getting the wrong message out of it if you think that any of those people are decent mothers or good people. Mr. Other People, the other yummy white meat. Oh, the ganglia. Also, thank you so much. $2 super chat. I really appreciate it. I haven't been jiggling. Do I owe some jiggles? Do I some jiggles?
Baby, it's what's for dinner. Baby, the other white meat.
Please don't associate my name with that Omega Karen. No, I thought she probably took it from like a Star Trek thing because they usually do, and I'm like, she seems like a Karen. But no, especially if you're trying to be an influencer, especially if you're a writer, especially if you're somebody who's trying to put a name for yourself and you follow more people than follow you, unless you've got like 20,000 followers and follow everybody, then you're really not that credible as a Twitter handle. You're not that interesting or important. People don't really care what you have to say. Revenge of the Netherrealm, I'm not even a parent and that stuff pisses me off. I'm not either, and I don't even like kids, and that pisses me off when they think that that's what the message actually is and they can't see through it. And Star Trek fans, that's the thing I always like to say about Star Trek fans, that say what you will about us, we're dorks, we're geeks, we're weird looking, we're fat, we're basement dwellers, at least we were smart. That was always the thing about Star Trek fans, is that they were a little bit smarter than your average normal non-playable character in the world of life, in the video game of life. You know, they were a little bit more critically thinking, and that was one thing I always really, really valued, was the critical thinking, and not just the group think, not just the mindless mentality of reciting back what everybody says to you. And that's the problem, is that everybody has told this woman who wrote this article that Star Trek Discovery is so representative and so good and so wonderful, and therefore she's reciting that back and not seeing it for what it really is, which is actually using the people that they're trying to represent in ways that are completely incorrect too. Like you're using people with dyslexia, for example, as and saying that we have superpowers, when no, use it like the Cosby Show did when they showed Theo with dyslexia, where he just jumbled up. He just jumbled up words. You know, that's how you do it. They're not clever enough for the messages that they're trying to convey either in this modern day and age. But we have even people I used to respect as being like intelligent, people like Patton Oswalt, now are just mindless NPCs reciting back the same nonsense that we hear from everybody else, and nobody takes the time to look and see what they're doing and talking about and thinking about. Well, you
know,
did the whole.
doing,
What do you think? What do you think? I just want to
you're
wrap
used to
into
doing
it.
these. I think, like you said, she's. It's admirable that she's looking for strong maternal role models, but I got to question what exactly is she looking at, because there's no strong maternal role models in any of these Star Trek shows. Except for Next Generation.
Yeah.
These are all horribly neglectful people. They're horrible, irredeemable, neglectful people.
Mr. Another $5
And
super chat.
I have to question. I got to say, what do you see? I'm not seeing it. I am not. Honestly, it's. Oh God!
Because Giorgio no longer kills people. Maybe she doesn't murder everybody in the room anymore. Now she's a good maniac.
A homicidal maniac. How is that? Oh, they're not evil. Like Georgia, she is. She's evil. She eats people. She eats sentient people. How?
Oh, that was before she knew there was another universe, though. So she hasn't since she came back.
Can I tweet that at her?
Yes.
George.
If you want, I'm not your controller. I mean, normally I don't advocate ever contacting these people, but
she's a homicidal maniac who eats Kelpian, who eats other sentient beings.
This is for you, Rob.
How was she? What?
All right, yeah, this is a super chat for you. $5 super chat, Mr. Another. Thank you so much. I wonder what Gene Roddenberry would say about the Saw Trek or Sam Kinison. What would Sam Kinison say specifically about Saw Trek?
Let's say I like Star Trek. I really do. I like Star Trek. Yeah, I was excited. I was excited to see a new Star Trek series. It's been a long time, man. Let's see a Star Trek. See a new Star Trek series. I'm sitting down, I'm watching. And I watch it like, what the hell is this shit? Severed baby head. When has Severed baby head ever come on Star Trek? Oh God, she's eating him! Oh!
That would be the next thing. They just have the little dead baby skull in their hand and they just take a bite out of the side of its head. See, it's chocolate. It's just Jell-O. It's not real. Norman Blyther's $1.99 super chat. Love your smile. Well, thank you so much. It's probably about time to wrap up. I know Rob's got another stream to head over to. So.
She follows naked. She follows naked wine, so she's a wine mom.
She's a literal wine mom. I wonder if she even believes that. I wonder if she didn't just write it to get an article published. Yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out. I think it's so much. We'll see you later. Bye.